Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle? What if I told you there's a secret way to bring more wealth into your life, and it doesn't involve working harder or relying on luck? It's all about using your mind in a special way. Today, we're diving into the amazing ideas of Neville Goddard and how they can help you manifest wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Now you might be thinking, wait, who's Neville Goddard, and what does he have to do with making money? Well, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey that could change your financial life forever. We're not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or magical money tricks. This is about understanding the incredible power of your own thoughts and how they shape your reality, especially when it comes to wealth. Imagine being able to create the financial life you've always wanted simply by changing the way you think. Sounds too good to be true, right? But that's exactly what Neville Goddard taught, and countless people have used his teachings to transform their lives. Whether you're drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or just want to take your finances to the next level, Goddard's ideas could be the key you've been searching for. So, who was this Neville Goddard guy anyway? Picture this. It's the mid-20th century, and while most people are focused on the outside world, one man is exploring the vast potential of the human mind. That man was Neville Goddard, a spiritual teacher who believed that our imagination is the secret ingredient to creating our reality. Goddard wasn't your typical self-help guru. Born in 1905 in Barbados, he moved to the United States as a young man and began studying various spiritual and mystical traditions. But it was his own experiences and insights that led him to develop his unique teachings. Goddard believed that the world we see around us is actually a reflection of our inner thoughts and beliefs. In other words, what we imagine in our minds becomes our reality. Now you might be thinking, that sounds a bit out there. But stick with me, because Goddard's ideas are actually pretty down to earth when you get right down to it. He taught that if we can imagine something clearly and feel it as real, we can make it happen in our lives. And yes, that includes becoming wealthy. Goddard wasn't just all talk either. He put his ideas into practice and saw amazing results in his own life. He went from being a poor immigrant to a successful author and lecturer, helping thousands of people change their lives along the way. And the best part? He believed that anyone could do the same, including you. Now let's get to the good stuff. How exactly can your imagination help you become wealthy? Well, according to Goddard, your imagination is like a superpower that most people never fully use. It's not just for daydreaming or coming up with creative ideas. It's the starting point for everything you create in your life. Think about it this way. Before you buy something, you first imagine having it, right? You picture yourself wearing that new outfit or driving that new car. It's the same with wealth. To become wealthy, Goddard said we need to first imagine ourselves as wealthy. It's like planting a seed in your mind that eventually grows into your reality. But here's where a lot of people get stuck. They think, well, I can imagine being rich, but that doesn't make it real. And you're right. Just picturing a pile of money isn't going to make it appear out of thin air. The key is to make your imagining feel real to you. Goddard called this feeling is the secret. Let's try a little exercise to see how this works. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself as you would be if you were already wealthy. Don't just see it, feel it. How does it feel to know you have more than enough money? How does it feel to be free from financial worries? Really let yourself experience those feelings. Did you notice how your mood changed? Maybe you felt more relaxed, more confident, or more excited. That feeling is incredibly powerful. When you can tap into that feeling regularly, you start to think and act differently. You make different decisions. You notice opportunities you might have missed before, and bit by bit, your outer world starts to change to match that inner feeling. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But I've tried positive thinking before, and it didn't work. Here's the thing. Goddard's technique goes beyond just thinking positive thoughts. It's about creating a vivid, believable experience in your mind and feeling it as if it's already real. Imagine you're an actor preparing for a role as a wealthy person. You wouldn't just say your lines, you'd study how wealthy people think, how they carry themselves, how they make decisions. You'd try to really become that person. That's what Goddard is asking you to do, but instead of playing a role, you're shaping your actual life. This might feel strange at first, especially if your current financial situation is far from where you want it to be. But remember, according to Goddard, your current situation is just the result of your past thoughts and beliefs. By changing those thoughts and beliefs now, you're setting the stage for a different future. Let's try another exercise. Think about a specific amount of money you'd like to have, let's say $100,000. Now, instead of thinking about how you could get that money, imagine that you already have it. What would your life be like? How would you feel when you check your bank balance? What kind of decisions would you make? Really let yourself live in that reality for a few minutes. The more you practice this kind of vivid imagining, the more natural it becomes. And according to Goddard, the more you can make it feel real to you, the more quickly you'll see changes in your actual financial situation. But here's an important point. This isn't about just sitting around daydreaming all day. Goddard taught that your imagination should inspire action. When you truly believe in your financial abundance, you'll find yourself taking steps to make it a reality. You might start a business, invest more wisely, or develop valuable skills. The key is that these actions come from a place of confidence and abundance, not fear and lack. Now you might be wondering, if it's this simple, why isn't everyone rich? Well, the truth is, changing our deep-seated beliefs about money isn't always easy. Many of us have grown up with limiting beliefs about wealth. Ideas like, money is the root of all evil, or you have to work hard to make money. These beliefs can act like brakes, holding us back even when we try to move forward. That's why Goddard emphasized the importance of persistence. He taught that we need to keep imagining and feeling our desired reality, even when our current circumstances don't match up. It's like watering a plant. You don't stop just because you don't see the flower blooming immediately. You trust in the process and keep nurturing it. Goddard also talked about the idea of living from the end. This means behaving as if you've already achieved your goal. For wealth, it might mean making decisions the way a wealthy person would, even if your bank account doesn't reflect it yet. This isn't about being reckless or irresponsible, it's about aligning your actions with your vision of abundance. For example, a wealthy person might focus on investing and growing their money, rather than just trying to save every penny. They might value their time differently, choosing to pay for services that free them up to focus on more important things. They might also be more generous, knowing that there's always more than enough to go around. Living from the end can feel challenging at first. You might worry that you're being fake or unrealistic. But remember, according to Goddard, you're not pretending, you're preparing. You're aligning yourself with the wealth that's on its way to you. This approach can lead to some interesting changes in your life. You might find yourself drawn to new opportunities or suddenly having ideas for creating wealth that you never considered before. People might start treating you differently, opening doors that were previously closed. It's as if the universe starts conspiring to make your imagined reality come true. But, and this is crucial, Goddard taught that patience and faith are key. Just like a farmer doesn't dig up his seeds every day to check if they're growing, you need to trust in the process. Your job is to keep that image of wealth alive in your mind, to keep feeling those feelings of abundance, and to act from that place of knowing. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Some of you might be thinking, isn't this all just wishful thinking? It's a fair question. After all, we live in a practical world where bills need to be paid and real problems need real solutions. But here's the thing, Goddard's teachings aren't about ignoring reality. They're about understanding that your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality more than you might realize. Think about it this way. Two people can face the exact same financial situation, but react to it completely differently based on their mindset. One person might see a setback as proof that they'll never be wealthy, while another sees it as a temporary challenge on the path to abundance. Who do you think is more likely to ultimately succeed? This is where Goddard's teachings become really powerful. By consciously choosing to imagine and feel wealth, you're training your mind to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You're programming yourself to make decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. And over time, those small shifts can lead to big changes in your financial life. But let's be clear, this isn't about magical thinking or ignoring practical steps. If you're in debt, for example, you still need to address that. The difference is that you'll approach it from a place of confidence and possibility rather than fear and defeat. You might find creative solutions you wouldn't have considered before, or discover resources you didn't know were available. Goddard also emphasized the importance of detachment. This might sound contradictory. How can you imagine wealth vividly while also being detached from it? But what he meant was that you shouldn't be anxiously waiting for your imagined wealth to manifest. Instead, you should have a calm knowing that it's on its way, just as you know the sun will rise tomorrow. This detachment allows you to enjoy the present moment while still working towards your goals. It prevents you from getting discouraged if things don't change overnight. Remember, Goddard taught that there's often a time lag between your imaginal act and its physical manifestation. Your job is to keep the faith during that in-between time. Now, you might be wondering how this approach differs from other manifestation techniques you might have heard about. While there are similarities, Goddard's teachings go deeper than just positive thinking or visualization. He emphasized the importance of feeling, really experiencing your desired reality in your imagination. He also taught that your imaginal acts tap into a greater power, what some might call God, the universe, or the subconscious mind. Goddard believed that by aligning your thoughts and feelings with your desires, you're actually aligning yourself with this greater power that can bring about change in ways you might not expect. This brings us to another important aspect of Goddard's teachings, the idea that everyone and everything in your world is a reflection of your consciousness. This means that as you change your inner world, your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings about wealth, your outer world will change to match it. People might suddenly offer you new opportunities. Resources you need might appear just when you need them. It's as if the whole world is rearranging itself to match your new, wealthier self-concept. But here's where many people get tripped up. They try to use these techniques to manipulate specific outcomes or people. Goddard taught that this misses the point. The goal isn't to control others or force particular events. It's to change yourself, your self-concept, and your beliefs about what's possible. When you do that, the external changes often happen in surprising and delightful ways. Let's take a moment to address some common concerns people have when they first encounter these ideas. You might be thinking, isn't it selfish to focus on becoming wealthy? Goddard would argue that by elevating yourself, you elevate others. When you're financially abundant, you're in a better position to help others and contribute to the world. Plus, You're setting an example that inspires others to reach for their dreams too. Another concern might be, what if I imagine wealth, but it doesn't come? This is where faith and persistence come in. Goddard taught that your imaginal acts always bear fruit, but sometimes in ways or time frames you might not expect. The key is to keep your focus on the feeling of wealth rather than anxiously looking for results. You might also wonder how this approach fits with practical action. Should you just sit around imagining wealth all day? Of course not. Goddard taught that inspired action naturally flows from your imaginal acts. When you truly believe in your abundance, you'll feel motivated to take steps that align with that belief. The difference is that these actions will come from a place of confidence and possibility rather than desperation or fear. Now let's talk about how you can start applying these ideas in your daily life. The first step is to get clear on what wealth means to you. It's not just about a number in your bank account. What does financial abundance look like and feel like in your life? How would your days be different? What would you do with your time and resources? Once you have a clear picture, start spending time each day imagining and feeling that reality. Goddard recommended doing this as you fall asleep at night and as you wake up in the morning when your mind is most receptive. But you can also practice throughout the day, especially when you're faced with financial decisions or challenges. Remember, the goal is to make it feel as real as possible. Use all your senses. If you're imagining living in a beautiful home, for example, feel the texture of the furnishings, smell the fresh air, hear the sounds of nature or city life outside. The more vivid and real you can make it, the more powerful the effect. As you go about your day, look for evidence that supports your new, wealthy self-concept. Maybe you find $1 on the street or a friend treats you to lunch. Celebrate these small signs of abundance, knowing they're just the beginning. This trains your mind to notice opportunities and blessings rather than focusing on lack. It's also important to watch your words and thoughts. Goddard taught that your inner conversations shape your reality. Start speaking about money and wealth in positive terms, even if it feels strange at first. Instead of saying, "I can't afford that," try, "That's not a priority for me right now." Instead of complaining about bills, express gratitude for the services they represent. Another powerful technique is to revise negative experiences. If you have a setback or disappointment related to money, take a moment to reimagine how you would have liked it to go. This isn't about denying reality, but about refusing to let temporary setbacks define your story. By revising in your imagination, you're setting a new pattern for future experiences. As you practice these techniques, you might start to notice changes in your life. Maybe you'll have a sudden insight about a new way to increase your income, or perhaps you'll meet someone who offers an unexpected opportunity. Be open to these changes, even if they don't look exactly like what you imagined. Remember, the universe often has even better plans than we can conceive. It's also important to be patient with yourself as you learn to apply these principles. Changing deep-seated beliefs about money and wealth can take time. You might have moments of doubt or frustration. That's normal. When this happens, gently bring your focus back to your imagined state of wealth. Treat it like a skill you're developing, just like learning a new language or instrument. One powerful way to reinforce your new beliefs is to act as if they're already true. This doesn't mean being reckless with money, but it might mean making decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. For example, you might choose to invest in yourself by taking a course or starting a side business, knowing that it will pay off in the long run. You can also look for ways to be generous, even if it's in small ways at first. Goddard taught that giving is a powerful way to reinforce your belief in abundance. When you give freely, you're telling the universe and yourself that there's more than enough to go around. As you continue to practice these principles, you might find that your entire relationship with money begins to shift. Instead of seeing it as something scarce that you have to struggle for, you might start to see it as a natural flow of abundance in your life. This shift alone can open up new possibilities and opportunities you never considered before. Remember, according to Goddard, the outside world is just a reflection of your inner state. As you cultivate feelings of wealth and abundance within yourself, you'll start to see more and more evidence of it in your external reality. It might start small, an unexpected refund, a great deal on something you need, or a new idea for a side hustle. But over time, these small changes can snowball into significant shifts in your financial life. One important point to remember is that this isn't just about accumulating money for its own sake. Goddard taught that true wealth is about living a rich, fulfilling life. As you imagine your wealthy self include all aspects of abundance, loving relationships, meaningful work, vibrant health, and opportunities to make a positive impact in the world. Now that we've explored the power of imagination, let's dive into what Goddard called the secret to making it all work. It's not just about picturing wealth in your mind. The real magic happens when you can feel it as if it's already yours. This might sound a bit strange at first, but stick with me because this is where things get really exciting. Imagine for a moment that you've just won the lottery. Really put yourself in that scene. What would you feel? Excitement? Relief? A sense of freedom? That feeling, that's what Goddard was talking about. He believed that when you can tap into the feeling of already having what you want, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind and the universe. But here's the catch. You need to feel it even before you see any evidence of wealth in your bank account. It's like planting a seed. You water it and care for it, believing in the plant it will become even when all you can see is soil. In the same way, you need to nurture the feeling of wealth before it shows up in your life. Now you might be thinking, how can I feel wealthy when I'm worried about paying my bills? This is where practice comes in. Start small. Maybe you can't imagine feeling like a millionaire right away, but can you imagine how it would feel to have an extra $100 in your pocket? Focus on that feeling. As you get more comfortable, you can gradually expand that feeling to larger amounts. One way to tap into this feeling is to remember a time when you felt financially secure or when you received unexpected money. Really relive that moment. How did your body feel? What thoughts were running through your mind? The more you can recreate that feeling, the more you're training your mind to expect abundance. Another technique is to act as if you're already wealthy in small ways. Maybe you buy yourself a fancy coffee as a treat, not because you're splurging, but because that's just what your wealthy self would do. Or perhaps you leave a generous tip, knowing that money always comes back to you multiplied. These small acts can help generate the feeling of abundance in your daily life. Remember, the goal isn't to fool yourself or ignore your current financial reality. It's about creating a new pattern in your mind and emotions. As you practice feeling wealthy, you'll start to notice opportunities you might have missed before. You'll make decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. And bit by bit, your outer world will start to reflect that inner feeling of wealth. Now let's talk about another powerful idea Goddard taught, living from the end. This means thinking, feeling, and acting as if you've already achieved your goal of wealth. It's like being an actor who's so good at their role that they become the character even when they're off stage. When you live from the end, you're not hoping to become wealthy someday. In your mind, you're already there. This might feel like pretending at first, but remember, you're not trying to fool anyone. You're reprogramming your subconscious mind and aligning yourself with the wealth you desire. So what does living from the end look like when it comes to wealth? It starts with your thoughts. Instead of worrying about money, you might find yourself thinking about how to invest your abundance. Rather than stressing over bills, you might be planning your next charitable donation. It's a complete shift in perspective. Your actions will naturally start to change too. You might find yourself drawn to books about managing wealth or networking with successful people. You might start dressing or carrying yourself differently, not to show off, but because that's just what your wealthy self would do. This doesn't mean being reckless with money or ignoring your current financial responsibilities. It's about making decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. For example, instead of choosing the cheapest option out of fear, you might invest in quality because you know it's worth it in the long run. Living from the end also affects how you talk about money. Instead of saying, "I can't afford that," you might say, "That's not a priority for me right now." Instead of complaining about expenses, you express gratitude for the value you receive. Your words shape your reality, so choosing abundant language is crucial. Now, this might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if your current situation is far from your desired wealth. That's okay. Start small. Maybe you can't live like a millionaire yet, but can you live like someone who always has a little extra? Can you approach your day with the confidence of someone who knows their financial future is secure? Remember, living from the end isn't about pretending or ignoring reality. It's about aligning your inner world with the future you desire. As you do this consistently, you'll start to notice changes in your outer world. Opportunities might appear that you never saw before, people might treat you differently, and gradually, your financial reality will start to shift to match your inner state. Now, let's talk about two key ingredients that make all of this work: persistence and faith. Goddard taught that manifesting wealth, or anything else, isn't usually an overnight process. It requires consistent effort and unwavering belief, even when you don't see immediate results. Think of it like planting a garden. You don't plant a seed one day and expect to see a fully grown plant the next morning. You water it, make sure it gets sunlight, and trust in the process of growth. Some days, you might not see any change at all, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening beneath the surface. In the same way, when you're working on manifesting wealth, you need to keep nurturing your mental garden every day. Keep imagining your wealthy life. Keep feeling those feelings of abundance. Keep living from the end. Do this even on days when your bank account doesn't reflect your inner vision. This is where faith comes in. Goddard taught that you need to have complete faith in your imaginal acts. This means believing in your vision of wealth so completely that you don't feel the need to constantly check for results or worry about how it will happen. Now, this can be challenging, especially in our instant gratification world. We're used to seeing immediate results for our efforts, but manifesting wealth often doesn't work that way. There's usually a time lag between your inner shift and its outer manifestation. During this time, it's crucial to keep your faith strong. This doesn't mean blind faith or magical thinking. It's about trusting in the process and in your own ability to create change. It's about knowing that as you continue to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with wealth, the outer world must eventually reflect that inner reality. One way to maintain your persistence and faith is to celebrate small wins along the way. Maybe you receive an unexpected refund, or you find a great deal on something you need. These might seem insignificant compared to your big wealth goals, but they're signs that your new mindset is working. Acknowledge them and use them to fuel your faith. Another helpful technique is to surround yourself with supportive people and information. Read success stories of people who have used similar principles to manifest wealth. Connect with others who are on the same journey. This can help reinforce your faith and keep you motivated during times when you might feel discouraged. Remember, persistence doesn't mean forcing or struggling. It's about consistently returning to your vision of wealth, especially when life tries to pull you in other directions. It's about choosing your thoughts and feelings deliberately, day after day, until they become your new normal. And here's an important point. Persistence and faith don't mean ignoring practical action. Goddard taught that inspired action naturally flows from your imaginal acts. As you consistently imagine and feel your wealthy life, you'll find yourself motivated to take steps that align with that vision. The difference is that these actions will come from a place of confidence and possibility rather than fear or desperation. So keep watering your mental garden, keep believing in your vision of wealth, and remember, just like a plant that suddenly sprouts after weeks of seeming inactivity, your financial breakthrough might be closer than you think. Stay persistent, keep the faith, and watch as your imagined wealth becomes your lived reality. As you embark on this journey of manifesting wealth using Goddard's teachings, you're bound to face some internal challenges. Doubts and negative thoughts are like uninvited guests that show up just when you're starting to make progress. But don't worry, Goddard had some powerful strategies for dealing with these mental obstacles. First, it's important to understand that doubts and negative thoughts are normal. They don't mean you're failing or doing something wrong. They're just old patterns of thinking that are resisting change. The key is not to fight against these thoughts, but to gently redirect your focus. When a doubt pops up like, "This is too good to be true," or "I don't deserve to be wealthy," acknowledge it without judgment. Then, instead of arguing with the thought, simply return your attention to your vision of wealth. It's like changing the channel on a TV. You're choosing to tune into a different frequency. Goddard also taught the power of revision. If you catch yourself thinking or saying something negative about money, take a moment to revise it in your mind. For example, if you think, "I'll never get out of debt," revise it to, "I'm so grateful that my debts are being paid off easily and quickly." This isn't about denying reality, but about choosing which reality you want to create. Another powerful technique is to question your negative beliefs about money. Often, these beliefs are based on things we were taught as children or experiences we've had in the past. Ask yourself, is this belief really true? Where did it come from? How has it served me? You might be surprised to discover that many of your limiting beliefs about wealth aren't actually based on facts. Remember, your mind is like a garden. Negative thoughts and doubts are like weeds. You don't need to violently uproot them. That can disturb the whole garden. Instead, focus on nurturing the plants you want to grow. The more you cultivate thoughts of abundance and possibility, the less room there will be for doubts to take root. It's also helpful to surround yourself with positive influences. Read books about wealth and abundance. Listen to podcasts or watch videos that reinforce your new beliefs. Connect with people who support your vision. The more you immerse yourself in a wealth-oriented mindset, the easier it becomes to maintain it. Lastly, be patient and kind with yourself. Changing deep-seated beliefs about money takes time. If you find yourself slipping into old thought patterns, don't beat yourself up. Simply notice it, gently redirect your focus, and keep moving forward. Every time you choose a thought of abundance over a thought of lack, you're rewiring your brain for wealth. Now that we've covered the core principles of Goddard's teachings, let's talk about how to put them into practice in your daily life. Remember, this isn't about passive wishing, it's about actively reshaping your thoughts, feelings, and actions to align with wealth. Start your day with intention. Before you even get out of bed, take a few minutes to imagine your wealthy life. Feel the emotions associated with financial abundance. This sets the tone for your entire day. Create a vivid mental scene. Goddard recommended creating a short, specific scene that implies your desire has been fulfilled. For wealth, this might be checking your bank account and seeing a large balance, or receiving congratulations on a successful business venture. Make it as real and detailed as possible. Practice feeling wealthy. Throughout your day, take moments to tap into the feeling of wealth. How would you feel if money were no object? Carry that feeling with you as you go about your activities. Watch your words. Pay attention to how you talk about money. Replace phrases like, "I can't afford it," with, "I'm choosing to spend my money elsewhere." Speak about wealth as if it's already yours. Act as if. Make decisions from the perspective of your wealthy self. This doesn't mean being reckless, but it might mean investing in yourself or choosing quality over cheapness because you know it's worth it in the long run. Keep a gratitude journal. Every day, write down things you're grateful for, especially related to money and abundance. This trains your mind to focus on what you have rather than what you lack. Revise negative experiences. If you have a setback or disappointment related to money, take a moment to reimagine how you would have liked it to go. This helps prevent negative experiences from cementing limiting beliefs. Meditate on abundance. Spend time each day in quiet reflection, focusing on feelings of abundance and wealth. This helps embed these feelings into your subconscious mind. Take inspired action. As you align your thoughts and feelings with wealth, you'll feel motivated to take certain actions. Follow these impulses. They're your intuition guiding you towards your goals. Persist and have faith. Keep practicing these techniques even when you don't see immediate results. Trust in the process and know that your consistent mental work is creating change, even if it's not visible yet. We've journeyed through the fascinating world of Neville Goddard's teachings on manifesting wealth. From understanding the power of our imagination to learning how to live from the end, we've explored a radically different approach to creating financial abundance. Remember, this isn't about magical thinking or ignoring practical realities. It's about harnessing the incredible power of your mind to shape your financial future. By consistently aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with wealth, you're setting in motion forces that can transform your life. The key is to persist, even when doubts arise or results seem slow in coming. Keep nurturing your mental garden of abundance. Keep feeling the reality of your desired wealth. Keep living as if your financial dreams have already come true. As you apply these principles, you may find that wealth shows up in unexpected ways. It might not be an overnight windfall, but rather a series of opportunities, insights, and small wins that gradually reshape your financial landscape. Remember, true wealth isn't just about money in the bank. It's about living a life of abundance in all areas: relationships, experiences, personal growth, and the ability to make a positive impact in the world. As you cultivate wealth consciousness, you may find that your entire life becomes richer in ways you never imagined. So, are you ready to unlock the secret to manifesting wealth? Your journey starts now, in this moment, with the thoughts you choose and the feelings you cultivate. Trust in the process, believe in your vision, and watch as your imagined wealth becomes your lived reality. The power to create the financial life of your dreams has been within you all along. Now it's time to use it.